Your hand closes on a steel rail that should have rusted to nothing 38 years ago. It's cold, it's solid, it's wet with spray that is still falling, and up behind the wheelhouse glass, a face is watching you climb aboard. You board derelicts for a living. Drift wrecks, abandoned hulls, the boats nobody ever comes back for. You've done it 40, 50 times, and the rule is always the same. You go aboard alone, because there is never anyone left to meet you. Your own boat, the Kestrel, rides on a short line off the trawler's stern. You can hear her fenders groan against the hull, familiar, safe. The trawler's name is painted white across her bow, Sundholm, a 38-meter stern trawler, reported lost in the autumn of 1988, 84 miles out past the edge of the shelf. 11 crew, never found. Until your transducer pinged her at 0347 last night, sitting dead in the water, like she had been waiting. The cold out here has a weight to it. It presses on the back of your neck. You stopped noticing it years ago, the way you stopped noticing your own pulse. You run your light along her plates. No rust, no weed, no barnacles. The paint is bright as the day she sailed. Derelicts don't keep their paint for 38 years. You swing your leg over the rail and drop onto the deck. It's dry, not damp, not slick with the spray you just felt on the rail. Dry, like a deck under a noon sun. You crouch and put your palm flat against it. Warm, and, faintly, through the steel, a tremor, an engine, idling somewhere below. You tell yourself there's a reason. Auxiliary cells, a generator someone left running, a freak current, a hull preserved by cold and luck. There is always a reason. The air smells of diesel and fish and cigarette smoke. Fresh smoke, blue, curling, from a cigarette burning down to the filter in a tin by the hatch. You did not light it. There is no one here to have lit it. Anyone aboard? Your voice goes out across the deck and comes back flat. Nothing answers. The deck lights are on, soft yellow, every one of them, glowing against a sky going dark. You stare at them and do the arithmetic, 38 years of batteries, and then you stop, because the arithmetic doesn't work. You look back up at the wheelhouse. The face is gone from the glass. Just the angle, you think. The glare. You were never going to see it clearly from down here. Then the wheelhouse door, 2 decks up, swings open on its own, and clicks shut. Open, shut. Latched each time by a hand you cannot see. There's no swell tonight. The sea is flat as glass. So what is closing the door? You climb the ladder to the wheelhouse. On the 7th rung, the metal is warm under your grip. Inside, the logbook lies open on the chart table. The last entry is dated the 4th of October, 1988. The handwriting stops in the middle of a word. The ink still catches your light. Wet. On the bulkhead, the ship's clock is ticking. You watch the second hand sweep once around. It reads 0347. Your radio crackles. Channel 16, the distress channel, the one you never turn off. A voice comes through it. Calm, unhurried. A man's voice reading a call sign and a position. The call sign is the Sundholms. The position is here. You key your own handset. Kestrel, do you copy? Your boat is 40 feet away. She doesn't answer. Only that other voice, reading the coordinates again. Patient, like it has read them 10,000 times and is not tired. You back out of the wheelhouse. You need to see people. Living people. You go below. The galley is lit and warm, and the table is laid for 11. Plates of food, untouched. Steam still lifting off them. The chairs are pushed back from the table, all of them, at the same angle, as if every man stood up at once and walked out, mid-meal, 38 years ago. A kettle sits on the stove, the burner still lit beneath it. You find the first of them in the crew quarters. A calendar is pinned to the bulkhead, turned to October 1988. A photograph is taped beside it, the 11 of them lined up on deck, squinting into a sun 38 years gone, grinning, young, alive. The man in the bunk is one of them, the same face from the photo, not a day older. He's on his back, eyes open, his chest rises, falls, slow, so slow, one breath while you count to 30. He is not dead. He is not asleep. His eyes move. They find you. They hold. You tell yourself gas, a leak, fumes, narcosis, something in the air bending what you see. You tell yourself this, backing toward the door, and your shoulder meets something soft. Another one, standing in the passage behind you, and past him, another, at the foot of the ladder, and another in the engine room hatch, and another, the whole crew, at their stations, in the passageways, caught mid-stride, not one of them aged a single day. One holds a wrench half raised to a valve that will never close. One has a mug lifted an inch from his lips, the coffee in it still steaming. One stands with his mouth open on a word that never comes, and his eyes slide sideways to follow you as you pass. Every one of them is looking at you. You run. Up the ladder, across the dry deck, to the rail. The kestrel is there, right there, 40 feet of black water between you and her deck lights. You climb the rail to jump. The water below has gone still. Not calm, still. Glassy. Frozen mid-ripple, every wave held in place like glass poured over the sea. Your boat sits on it, and the gap will not close, and you understand, the way you understand a thing inside a dream, that you could fall toward her for the rest of your life and never land. Off the stern, a gull hangs in the air, wings spread, fixed mid-beat against the dark. A single drop of water clings to its wingtip and does not fall. Nothing here falls. Nothing here moves but you. Your watch. You look at your watch. The second hand has stopped. 0347. The spray that was falling hangs in the air around you now. Beads of water, motionless, catching the deck lights. You breathe out, and you can see your breath, and it does not drift. It hangs there, in front of your mouth. Behind you, the crew has turned. All 11. Facing you. They are not afraid. They have the patient look of people who already know how this ends, because they have stood here and watched it end before. You look back at the wheelhouse. Through the open door, the logbook on the chart table. The pen beside it is moving. A new line, in the same hand that stopped mid-word in 1988. You don't have to read it. You already know your own name. You already know the time written next to it. 0347. The moment you came aboard, the crew never aged because the ship never moved. It fell out of time 38 years ago, and it has been holding its breath ever since, waiting for one more. The cold comes up through the soles of your boots and settles into you, slow, like sleep. The radio is still reading the position, the same coordinates, the same flat, patient voice, and you understand now who it is for. Not rescue, never rescue. It's a marker, a time and a place, set down for someone far off who hasn't found you yet. 38 years from tonight, a transducer will ping at 0347. A boat will tie off on a short line at the stern. Someone will go aboard alone, the way you always do, because there is never anyone left to meet you. They will run their light along plates with no rust, no weed, no barnacles. They will wonder how the paint stayed so bright, and they will look up. And behind the wheelhouse glass, they will see a face, watching them climb aboard. Yours, young, unmoving, already waiting. And their hand will close on a steel rail that should have rusted to nothing 38 years ago, cold, solid, wet with spray that is still falling.